Ashe, grand rising, a grand day, and peace and goodwill to you all once again, my fellow natural, native, earthly humans. You, the earth's organic humans, and soulful humans. You, my fellow humans, with soul, the world over. Yes, you don't know that it is I, yours truly, I, the mystic philosopher. And many thanks for stopping by and for giving of your time, your precious time, to listen to another perspective with yours truly, I, the mystic philosopher. And welcome to this part 20, and the continuation of the great big black and white lie exposed. Now, if by chance you haven't yet watched or listened to part 1 through to part 19, and hopefully in that consecutive order, I ask that you please do so before watching this part 20, or that you please do so at your earliest, at your most earliest convenience. I honestly do think and believe that if at all you are seriously interested in getting the facts and the most truthful understanding, and overstanding of what I am talking about in this series, I highly recommend that you go back and watch part 1 through to the end, to up to 20, and maybe by then I'm further ahead. For those of you who have been following this series thus far, or might have been listening to me speak on this topic elsewhere, because I've spoken on it before, and over the years, you will have noticed and no doubt came to the conclusion that I, the mystic philosopher, have made it my personal mission to expose this lie, and by extension, expose these lies. Yes, the great big black and white lie, and to have most of you, if not all of you, my people and others to whom it may concern, come to the knowledge of the proven truth, and to be enlightened to the destructive effects this lie, and by extension these lies, have had and are having on every aspect of our lives. And having come to the knowledge and the proven truth, you too will then begin to redeem yourselves from the curses of being ignorant to this lie, and by extension being ignorant to these lies. Hopefully you will begin to emancipate yourselves from both mental, spiritual, physical, and otherwise slavery. For as it has been written hundreds or thousands of years ago, both written and said, that my people are destroyed. Why? For lack of knowledge. My people perished for lack of knowledge. And as it is my custom, let me quickly once again remind you of my main objectives, meaning the goals that I hope to have achieved by the end of this series, and the messages and the facts that I intend to successfully convey to you all, my very patient, astute, tolerant, and observers, and truth seekers, listeners, independent thinkers, and of course, yes, analytical truth seekers. Number 1, my objectives are actually 9, and are summarized in 9, and they are as follows. Number 1 is to show and prove to you all, my fellow highly melanin and highly carbon skin complexion, natural, native, earthly humans, why you should not and why we must not call ourselves black. Number 2 is to show and prove to you why we should not and why we must not pronounce upon ourselves black, or allow others to pronounce upon us the word black. Number 3 is to show and prove to you why we should not and why we must not identify with the word black, why we should not answer to the word black, or allow others to call, label, list, identify, name, and bestow on us black. as in a black people, a black community, a black business, a black nation, a black country, and a black race of people, etc. And number four, and by the same token, it is to show and prove to you why we should not and why we must not call, label, list, identify, name, or bestow on Caucasians or anyone or any other melanin and carbon skin complexion deficient race of people, or if you prefer, on any other pale skin, pinkish pale skin, or reddish pink skin, you name it for that matter. The word white, we should not do it. In fact, it is to show and prove to you that by calling, naming, marking, listing, profiling, and labeling, I said that before, etc., the aforementioned people white, is to consciously or unconsciously, knowing or unknowingly, literally, spiritually, psychologically, physically, intellectually, and otherwise, profess and confess with your own tongue that they are your superior. Did I mention grammatically too? Yeah, that they are your superior and that you are their inferior. They are the light and you are the darkness. But please stay tuned. I have much more to say on this point as I continue to expose the lies. Number 5 is to show and prove to you that the English word, yes, or more correctly, the English word black is a curse word. It is a word that brings only bad luck, a bad omen, subjugation, humiliation, mental and physical enslavement, mistrust, harassment, injustice, hatred and misfortune, and much more upon all those whom it has been called, cast, broadcast, recast, and rebroadcast, you name it. Number 6 is to show and prove to you that the earth, our Mother Earth, and all her natural inhabitants are under the spell and the curse of black and blackness. Number 7 is to show and prove from the Caucasoid imperialists and colonizers' own dictionaries, namely the English dictionaries, that the people that have called, named, labeled and listed themselves as white and are calling, naming, labeling and listing themselves white are not at all white. It is to show and prove that nothing about them is at all white. In fact, it is to also show and prove that if or when most things, if not all things, are intelligently, honestly, seriously, meticulously, and sincerely considered, evaluated, etc., most of them, if not all of them, are black. It is to show and prove to you that they are the real and true black ones, the real and true black people. And thus, and in accordance to their own English dictionaries, meaning and definition of the word black, coupled with their works, coupled with their deeds, coupled with their action, coupled with their present, coupled with their history, their past, and their track record, coupled with their carnage, their bloodbath and exploitation, etc., you name it, among all the natives and indigenous peoples of the earth with whom they have regrettably and unfortunately encountered, or who encountered them. Most of them, if not all of them, are the ones that should and must be called, labeled, listed, marked, profiled, and named black. I ask that you please stay tuned and pay very close attention to this point as I delve deeper and deeper into this topic. And it is also to show and prove that not all the people, not all of us that they label and call black, or list and named black, etc., are indeed black. But that's a very important point that I will have to address individually. Number 8 is to show and prove to you that this our current existence upon this planet is a game, and one in which we melanin, carbon skin complexion people are being played like pawns on a chessboard. It is a game that is highly stacked against us, And that in order for us to change the game so that we can get a fair play at it, change it in our favor, or at least we get a fair chance at it, we have to do what? We have to change the name Black and all its synonyms and euphemisms as well. But stay tuned. We get into that. Number 9 is to help awaken and enlighten you, my fellow highly enriched in melanin and highly enriched carbon skin complexion people. You, the Earth's organic humans and natural native earthly humans, to the fact that by you allowing yourselves to be called, named, labeled, marked, profiled, listed, etc. as Black, and to have the word Black pronounced, cast, broadcast, recast, and rebroadcast daily on you, is also to voluntarily surrender your dignity, voluntarily surrender your integrity and your self-respect. Above all, it is to voluntarily surrender to the Black spell. In fact, it's also to insult your own intelligence and then surrender to the Black spell and its sorcerers and practitioners. But then again, much more on these facts as I continue to delve deeper and deeper into this series. Again, please stay tuned and thanks for listening and watching so far. Now back to the meaning and definition number 6 of the word Black from the Winston Canadian Dictionary for Schools, number 6. And again, Black meaning dark skin as a Negro. As mentioned in part 19, that I think that it is imperative that I spend some extra time on this number 6, because sadly, a lot of people will read it. There is a lot of very important information and facts that are here, but however, they are easily overlooked, again because of the trichology language. They are easily overlooked by many people, and I need to expose or shed some light on it or on them and get you thinking about them and look deeper into these things. So Black again, number 6, Black, dark skin as according to the dictionary number 6, dark skin as a Negro. Now in part 19, I told you that the word Black is synonymous with the word dark and the word Negro, meaning they can be used and they are used interchangeably. I told you that the word Black is English and the word Negro is Spanish and Portuguese. I also ask you to please bear in mind that they all belong to the same one Caucasoid roots and Caucasian language family tree. Now, I also reminded you of the fact that etymologically, they are not our words, and nor is this our language, our mother tongue, or that of our most honorable African ancestors. Now, according to the imperialist and colonialist and colonizers' language, and one of their online etymology dictionaries at etymonline.com, the word Negro means, and I quote from the dictionary, the online dictionary, member of a black skin race of Africans. From Spanish or Portuguese, Negro, black. From Latin, Nigrum. Parentheses, nominative, nigger. Black, dark, sable, dusky. Again in parentheses, we have here applied to the night sky, a storm, the complexion, and figuratively, gloomy, unlucky, bad, wicked, unquote. Please check it out for yourself. The online etymology dictionary at etymonline.com. Please check it and read it for yourself and interpret it for yourself. I ask that you please note with keen interest when you do. But from what I've just read, I ask that you please note with keen interest that according to this online etymology dictionary, the word Negro means, and again I quote, member of a black skin race, a black skin race of Africa, unquote. Therefore, a Negro is a member of a black skin race of Africa. Now, from my perspective, careful observation and interpretation of this statement member of a black skin race of Africa is directly and indirectly implying, if not subtly, and with cruel, thieving, and malicious intention, implying that originally there were and that there are multiple indigenous races of Africans in and on the continent that is today called Africa. That's why I ask you, please check it for yourself. And that one of, or that only one of those multiple indigenous races or group of Africans had so-called black skin. Now, please note, not for clarity, please note, for clarity of expression, sorry. It did not say Negro indigenous to Africa or Negro, a person who has dark skin and who belongs to a group of people who are original from Africa, etc. It didn't say that. Bear in mind that they have already blacklisted, blackballed, and blackmarked all of humans that are highly enriched in melanin and highly enriched carbon skin complexion as black. They did not say Negro, a person of black African ancestry, but Negro, member of a black skin race of African. Please, again, I ask, if you are seriously interested, check it for yourself and you'll see what I'm talking about. Now, please let me take this opportunity to remind you, my people, and to whom it may concern, that the English/British language, is the language of the imperialists and colonizers and colonialists, aka the black Caucasians. It's their language. Let me remind you that it is a trickology language, a language of spells, sorcery, tricks, and deceptions. A language that is meant and designed to conceal the secrets of the black Caucasians. Let me remind you that it was designed by the black Caucasians and their black or dark forces and sorcerers to do what? To conquer, to confuse, to oppress, to subjugate, to mentally enslave and control their victims. It was never meant for honest and for direct clarity of expression. And nor is it about honesty and clarity of expression and direct clarity of expression. And nor is it about honesty and direct clarity of expression, especially for us, their subjects, that they have conquered, humiliated, subjugated, and made mental and physical slaves. And thus, their linguists and lexicographers can be black and are just as black, meaning crooked, deceitful, racist, and prejudiced, just like their masters. And so, with that statement and my inquisitive, critical, alert, and suspicious mind, what I think they are trying to do, cunningly trying to do, if not actually doing, is to subtly and cunningly and covertly imprint in the minds of their people and the peoples of the world is that they, the black Caucasians, and their pale skin, pinkish pale, reddish pink, melanin deficient skin complexion people are indigenous to Mother Africa as well. Please pay attention. And being indigenous, they can lay claim, and they will begin to lay claim to the land of Africa, which is the wealthiest and richest continent on the planet Earth, and the envy of them all. Now, to some of you, my listeners, this may sound very far-fetched. But for those of us highly enriched in melanin and highly enriched carbon skin complexion people of Africa and the world over, we see It's happening right before our eyes in South Africa today. There we see, right as I am talking to you, where the black Caucasians, the masters of our lies and deceptions upon the earth, have conned my fellow indigenous people of South Africa. And they are still conning my fellow indigenous people of South Africa into thinking, believing, and accepting that they are white. The black Caucasians have conned, and they are still conning them into thinking, believing, and accepting that they are a white people. And stay tuned, we're going to be talking about white. You'll see who really white people are. And that they are from a white race of people. They con everybody into believing that. Except I, the mystic philosopher, and a few others. A few of you, my listeners. The black Caucasians have conned, and is still conning them all, my fellow South African people. From the president of South Africa to the peasants, from the wealthiest to the poorest, from the most systems educated to the non-educated, the black Caucasians have skillfully conned them all, and is still to this moment conning them all into thinking, believing, and accepting that they are in every aspect of the word white. The black Caucasians have conned, and is still conning my fellow South Africans into thinking, believing, and accepting that they are white, and that my fellow natural native earthly humans are their opposite, meaning black. The black Caucasians, they flip the script. That's what I want you guys to see. They flip the script. They flip the label and treat the world. The black Caucasians have conned and are still conning my fellow South African people into thinking, believing, and accepting that them being white, them, the deceivers being white, they are then superior to my fellow indigenous Africans that they call, that they, the black Caucasians, have labeled, called, named, and designated black. We didn't do it. Our people didn't call themselves black. Let no one deceive you. Consequently, we have witnessed, and we are currently witnessing where the black Caucasians deceptively, calling themselves white South Africans, have set up what they call white-only town in South Africa. One such town that I am made aware of is called Orania, Orania, Orania. From my perspective, if a town like this should or must be allowed to exist in South Africa or elsewhere on the continent of Africa, it should and must be called what? The Black Caucasians only town. This town, Orania, is a town in South Africa where only the black Caucasians inhabit. Another name that the black Caucasians call themselves is Afrikaner. And according to one online English dictionary, Afrikaner is, and I quote, an Afrikaner speaking white person in South Africa, especially one descended from the Dutch and Huguenot settlers of the 17th century. And two, a gladius native of South Africa, unquote. Now, according to an article I read on the BBC News website titled Inside South Africa's Whites Only Town of Orania, and I quote, it is an Afrikaner only town where only Afrikaans are spoken because of fears about diluting culture, unquote. Now, please let me give you at least one practical example of what I mean and what I'm saying when I categorically state that these strange creatures, yes, these alien creatures from the Caucasus Mountains, called Caucasians, are truly the masters of witchcraft, the masters of sorcery, black magic, cons and deceptions. Can you imagine one of the most colonialist systems trained and system educated leaders on the continent of Africa today, namely President Cyril Ramaphosa, the president of South Africa, a man whose mastery in speaking and mimicking the imperialist and colonizers' language, aka the Black Caucasians' English and British language, is, from my perspective, his mastery from my perspective is second only to that of the imperial and colonial master, of his imperial and colonial master, yes, himself, King Charles. When you ever listen to this man speak? But can you imagine him, along with the rest of his elite government ministers and opposition as well, looking on and calling the visibly pale skin, pinkish pale, reddish pink, etc., melanin deficient and carbon skin complexion deficient people, calling them white and white people? Well, if that is not the art of science, if that is not the art and science of mastering witchcraft, sorcery, black magic, hypnotism, cons and deceptions, you name it, at work and in effect, then tell I, the mystic philosopher, what else is, or what is. Remember, I told you that being system educated and system trained does not necessarily mean that your common sense is activated, but we have more on that in the interest of time. This will be the end of this part 20. So please stay tuned. I will get back to 6 again. Please stay tuned. There are much more thought-provoking perspectives, insights to come. So please join me for the continuation in part 21. There I will pick up right back where I'm leaving off right now, because there's a lot more to say. Thanks for watching and listening. And if you think or believe that these my presentations are worth sharing, please share, please discuss them, please, if once you get inspired or it makes sense, dig into it more and do your own thing, because all of us will benefit when when everybody stop calling themselves and accepting the curse and calling themselves black. So here's willing. Yes, you share it with your friends and family, everybody. Share it. In the meantime and between time, here's willing that in your becoming, that you become more, that you be more and more and much, much more, and definitely not be less. Let no one be less you. Don't, I tell you, the trichology language, trust me, you'll be fascinated as you continue to learn more. For I am the mystic philosopher. Ashe, 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 I say.